Hi everyone, welcome back to River and Rune. Thank you guys for joining me on the channel. I'm very excited to get into this week's rune reading because we are in the week of Samhain. We're just about to get to Halloween, which is going to be really fun because Samhain is the Celtic New Year. In the Celtic calendar, this is the most important time in the Celtic year, and it really represents this time where the veil between the worlds is at its thinnest. So we can contact our ancestors, we can contact those people who have crossed to the other side and sit down, have conversations with them. This is where the tradition of Halloween comes from, where we would wear masks and dress up so that we would fit in with the mixed crowd of spirits from the other world, of demons, of all kinds of manner of energies and spirits and things, and we get to play around with them for a day, which is really fun. So all in all, Samhain is just about to be upon us, and it's going to be a really wonderful time. And the full moon is arriving very soon as well, I believe also on Samhain. So it's going to be a very special weekend. And it'll be the full moon in Taurus. So a very powerful grounding energy in relationship to the power and energy of the sun in Scorpio, which is this beautiful opposition between the energies of groundedness, of having, of this femininity, of this deep Venusian energy, and the energies of Scorpio, traditionally ruled by Mars, connected to this very fiery, passionate, but deeply emotional sense of self and commitment to mysticism and understanding the deepest parts of one's self, which I think is really fun. So really powerful energies coming up this week, so I'm very excited to find out what the runes have to say. And we are also heading up to the new Celtic month of the reed, nettle, which is really cool. So I'm excited about that. The reed is representative of an energy of, the word that I'm looking for is an energy of ingenuity. The reed is all about creating things and all about being present with yourself so that you can use all of the resources around you to make what you want happen. Reeds were often used as shafts for arrows, so you could use that to send your thoughts into the distance or to send whatever it is that you want and hit the mark, right? So that's really fun. And the energy, of course, of Scorpio is connected to this deeper energy of the underworld, of connecting to ourselves, of what the underworld represents, which oftentimes is connected to inheritance. It's about what we receive in this life and what we're allowing ourselves to receive. So let's see what the runes have in store for the week ahead. Oh, this is so cool. Okay. I'm very excited. So, we're starting off this week, and for those of you who don't know, I read the rune table very similarly to as if a drop of water fell from the sky and hit a beautiful, beautiful pond of time, and it ripples out. So whatever is close to the center is closer to the present moment, and whatever is further out towards the edge of the rune table is considered later on in time. So we start out with whatever's in the center, and if we do find any symbols or the ways in which the stones have fallen, maybe they fall into a specific glyph or something that brings up another idea in mind or an archetype, that also is up for interpretation. So we're starting the rune reading with Thurisaz in Merkstaf. So this is pretty interesting because that means we're starting off this week, today into tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if many of us are dealing with certain energies of catharsis, of working through emotional traumas or emotional issues, or perhaps allowing ourselves to sit down with the tough times that we've been through for the past couple of months. I wouldn't be surprised if we start thinking about people that we've left behind, or things that have come to pass, or whatever it is, because Thurisaz oftentimes represents the electric energy within the soul, or the quote-unquote masculine energy. And I put that in air quotes because masculinity and femininity are a part of the human expression in general. We all carry it within ourselves, which is why I tend to like to talk about it in terms of electricity or magnetism. It has a little bit less of a social connotation to it. But in any case, Thurisaz is very much connected to the masculine or the electric principle, right? It's connected to this energy of Thor, of the god of thunder, right? Who oftentimes has this very strong presence in a lot of the mythology. And when it is upright, it represents catharsis, or a healing time, or connecting to one's masculinity and allowing that to be a source of joy and presence for you. But when it's in Merkstav, it can represent that perhaps we're being too hard on ourselves, or we're leaning too heavily on working, we're doing too much at this time. Or perhaps, again, in terms of energies, it can represent a wounded masculine. It could represent wounded masculinity, whether that may be in a romantic partner that you have, that you may be involved with at this time, or it can be with someone who is close to you, or perhaps even the wounded masculine within yourself, and whatever that may mean to you, right? This energy of a deep pain that we may be working through. So that's at the start of this reading. So there is this wound that we're dealing with. There is something here that is a little bit heavy for those of us who are watching it. My heart goes out to you guys, and I hope that you take your time this week to rest and to be gentle with yourself. Now later, I would say closer to Friday into Saturday, heading almost into Samhain, which is going to be fun. We have Manas, and Manas is really awesome because Manas oftentimes represents our connection to our higher self, to our ingenuity, our cunning, our intellect, our ability to work ourselves through problems, or to work ourselves through the mazes of our inner lives, and taking time to step back. It can sometimes bring a lot of logic, but oftentimes connects to the deeper representations of the human psyche or human consciousness. Think of it as consciousness, rather than, or in connection to Parathro, which would have been more so the subconscious mind, knowledge of one's destiny, inner intuition. Whereas this, like I said, is connected more to the ingenuity, intelligence, cunning, things like that. But it can also represent being with friends or having help at this time. So I wouldn't be surprised as over the weekend you may have a friend coming soon, or a friend that you haven't seen in a long time come to visit you, or perhaps you may run into someone, or you may have a conversation or a FaceTime, or you may reach out to someone or reach out to the community and the society that you have available to you to help you through whatever it is that you're going through, and to help you connect to a deeper sense of community, connect to a sense of self, and using your intellect as a means of I'm hearing talking yourself off the ledge, which I know is very like whoa, but yes, like allow yourself that time to really convince yourself that you're worth the beauty of your life, that you're worth the good things in this life, that you're worth all of these beautiful stuff that you have, that you can have in this life. And using your intellect in a way that doesn't amplify your anxieties, but helps accept them, embrace them, and allows you to utilize your cunning and your intellect and your connection to your higher self to help put the balm over your wounds, whatever wound that you may be working through. And then I'm very excited because later into next week we have Fehu. So Fehu is really cool. I love to see this rune, especially in a rune reading, because Fehu represents abundance, wealth, prosperity. It literally means, if I'm not mistaken, represents cattle. Because in the old days, cattle was what they had in Celtic tribes and also in Nordic tribes. Cattle was a means of measuring one's wealth, right? So Fehu oftentimes represents wealth. It's part of Freya's et. So it's part of the 8 runes that are associated with the goddess Freya. So it carries this connotation of love, wealth, abundance, warmth, prosperity. So I feel that there's a beautiful theme going on into this week where right now, feeling a little down on ourselves, really connecting and tapping into this deeper wounds that we may be dealing with, and perhaps wounds on the side of the father, wounds that are connected to masculinity that we have felt in our life. So perhaps a lot of ancestral healing coming through for many of us, especially a lot of focus and emphasis on the father and on the father's lineage. There could also be a deep emphasis on the energies of Saturn. So perhaps where we have held on very deeply to control, Saturn being a very fatherly energy, and where we've held on to this kind of control that Saturn represents often in the astrological terms, and where we have to let that go, right? And as we let it go, as we release this control that has hurt us in the past, sometimes that release can be painful, right? Healing is not always painless, right? And so I see this happening, that we're edging into this sense of healing and then allowing ourselves to lean on the support of others in this coming weekend, and having this time to connect to our ancestors, especially during Samhain, which is when the veil is thinnest. That connection, leaning on our friends, leaning on our ancestors, leaning on the support that we have, and that will eventually lead to a great wealth and abundance that will turn things around come next week. So I'm very excited for that. And I also have a rune here that fell on my lap as I was casting the stones, and it's Raido, but it fell on its side. And Raido often represents, for those of you who do tarot, the Chariot. So movement forward, victory, overcoming obstacles, right? Oftentimes the rune itself, Raido, can represent transition and actual movement from one place, one physical place, to another. So travel, which may be difficult at this time during the pandemic and all, but it can represent travel. It can also represent transition from one stage of life to the next, or actually moving to a different state, country, whatever it may be. But having it fall on the lap, to me, represents that there is all of this change waiting for you. It's sitting with you, it's present. And all you have to do, I'm really feeling, all you have to do is take this time to lean on the support of others. Lean on the support of your ancestors, your guides, your friends, and allow that to be a balm for the wounds that you carry in your heart. So, beautiful reading for this week, a little bit heavy, so again, please be gentle with yourself and always take your time with yourself and with your processing. But thank you for joining me on River and Rune. I'm very grateful to have you guys and to have you guys join me on the channel and share this practice with me. So please feel free to subscribe and like this video below and leave some comments saying hello, seeing how this reading resonated with you. I would love to read them and see how you guys resonate with the reading. And I will see you guys soon on River and Rune. I'm very excited, and much love to you all. All right? Bye everyone.